it's Mark Beaumont and I'll be taking part in Doddie Aid 2025 to raise vital funds for research into motor neuron disease. And I'll be cycling, of course, the best activity of all. Beat that!
There's only one activity for us, rugby, just like Doddie.
Can we just go for a walk? We don't really do swim caps. No offense.
Well, I agree, ladies, but personally, I prefer something a wee bit more relaxing.
On air in 5.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Whoa, 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 whoa. What's all this talk about the best activity? It's about finding what works for you.
Whatever you choose to do, just make it count.
Join Doddie Aid today. Pick your activity, log your miles, and help us tackle motor neuron disease.
We're
in this together.
Try to keep up, Mark.
Hello and welcome. It's Wednesday night, which means it's Doddie Aid Live. I'm your host, Bruce Aitchison, with a big silly grin on my face because those two crack me up. And I was just thinking, Rob Wainwright, that's got to be an audition for River City. I think that's got to be a guest appearance. Everybody would love to see it. Captain Wainwright cycling on his bike to River City and getting involved in some kind of shenanigans. I've got no idea who's in it, but I reckon he should be. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Doddie Aid is all over it. I'm loving seeing the pictures of the poochies. You are doing magnificent things. We've smashed some milestones. We're almost at 14,000 people. The money is going up, up, up. There's a whole load of teams getting ready for the Doddie Grand Tour to get to Murrayfield in Edinburgh for the Ireland game. It's all go. You people are action-packed. I have hardly walked the length of myself. But do as I say, don't do as I do. And last week, we treated you to 3 incredible guests. How could we spoil you anymore? We're giving you 4 incredible guests. Amazing people dialing in from the rugby hotbeds of the world. I am very, very excited to see them all. I hope you're there. I hope you're watching. Comment, get involved. Let's hear from you. We've got some heroes. We have got 1 week to go, people. 1 week to go. And there's lots of people been looking back at their memories of the previous Doddie Aids with nostalgia and rose-tinted specs. And there is so much to look forward to. Now, let's not waste any time. Our first guest tonight, I can remember watching. I think I actually might have played against him, but I probably kicked the ball down his throat and he ran it back and scored because that was the kind of thing he did. And he's now back in New Zealand helping save people from burning buildings and rescuing cats from up trees and helping people get their keys out of the car that they've locked them in. But he's also motivating so many people and he's reaching out and making this MND community even bigger and better. I'm delighted to welcome one of my heroes, Snowy, the one and only Glenn Metcalfe. Hello, sir.
Hey, Bruce, how are you, mate? This is
very
cool.
good to see you.
To be on the show with you.
It's class, and I'm loving the uniform. There are people literally melting at the fireman in his uniform. Look at him.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't take the day off today, so we'll make it work. They put me in the quiet truck for a wee while, so let's see if we can get through it. But hey, I want to say big g'day to all the Doddie Aiders out there too. It's been fantastic, like you said, Bruce, seeing everyone with all their little stories and all their photos and videos. It's really inspiring, and I've managed to get a few people on the bandwagon over here too, which is really cool. So
yeah,
awesome.
It's awesome to see what you're getting up to, and you're motivating so many people. Last year, you went the length of Scotland in New Zealand. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. That was my wife Lisa. That was our plan to do that. We just sort of worked out roughly as the crow flies what it would be from right up Shetland Islands basically to the border down at Gretna, and so we just thought let's do that for a challenge, and along the way we'll take a few photos and videos of where we are, and yeah, it turned out to be really, really cool. Really, really enjoyed it.
That's an amazing thing. See, I would have been a total slacker and just gone from John O'Groats, but you being a good guy, you decided, no, let's go all the way up to Shetland. You're an absolute hero, my man. And what have you been up to this year?
Yeah, so again, we were really excited because it was such a buzz last year doing it. There's extra motivation for me. I've got a connection with MND through a few friends and acquaintances here, not only, all over the world. It affects so many people and so many families. And, we really wanted to up the ante a bit and do something. And unfortunately, it sort of hasn't quite worked out the way we wanted with couple of injuries were picked up, and I got a little dose of the COVID for a week into it, but we're back into it, doing what we can, and just really trying to get out there and show people that this healthy body of ours is a gift, and get out and use it, and see the world and see the beauty of it, and inspire others to do the same thing. So, yeah.
Mate, it's incredible. You got so many sound bites in there. You're an absolute star. Right, I'm going to be totally selfish here. I want to rewind the tape way, way, way back. When you were playing rugby in New Zealand, how did it come about that I'm heading across to Scotland to play?
Yeah, well, it really was just an OE opportunity. I managed to touch base with a former coach in New Zealand here who coached Waikato, a very high level coach, Kevin Green. He was coaching in Glasgow at the time, and
legend.
So the opportunity to come across was a phone call to Kevin, and say, hey, I'd love to come across and play some rugby in Scotland. I have a Scottish grandmother, and legitimately, and I really want to just experience something across the other side of the world too. But it worked out. I worked in a sports store in Glasgow, the Grieve Sports Shop, and I was just playing amongst these wonderful people in Glasgow, which rugby was such a small part of that city. But I just instantly fell in love with the place, and a couple of lucky bounces, like Kevin had told me. Next thing, I get to jump on a plane and travel with Scotland. Who knew?
It was. I remember you coming in and being this fullback that could pick a spot, and that outside break and the turn of pace. And Kevin Green, what a hero. I played with his boy Andy, and Greeno hooked me up to go to Waikato and play for Tarapa and Hamilton. So Greeno was one of those. He had so many connections and helped so many people. But did you come with the ambition to play for Scotland, or were you just going for the ride?
No, not at all, really. I mean, I was playing at a level, senior club rugby, and I just really loved my rugby. But it was probably my wildest dreams, really, to represent Scotland. And it certainly wasn't on the radar for a very long time. The first year, I wasn't setting anything on fire playing club rugby, but I was having a great time and with great mates. And it probably wasn't until the next year, where the formation of the Glasgow Hawks, amalgamation of two clubs, GHK and Glasgow Ackies, that was a bit of a platform for us to be playing some good rugby. And by virtue of the players around me, I had an opportunity to, just play the best rugby I could play at the time, I guess. And again, a few lucky bounces, and the next thing I get an opportunity to fulfill a dream, really. Yeah,
you're too humble a man. But before you got on the plane, were you aware of Doddie Weir? When you were in New Zealand, did you know who Doddie Weir was?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Because a little bit of inspiration was the year before Scotland toured New Zealand, and I actually was going to the movies in Hamilton midweek, and these bunch of big burly rugby players in blue t-shirts all walked in and sat in the rows up the front. And I remember, these guys, and knowing of Scotland, because I'm a rugby fan as well, of course, first. So they all strolled into the cinema and thought, oh man, these guys are cool. I was, mid-20s, but like I was pretty awestruck by these guys, and I love watching them play rugby too. So, but I didn't come across Doddie and really until I started playing for Scotland, and he was already establishing himself down in Newcastle, I think, and when I first met him, because he'd come off the back of that '97. He was part of the Lions, that British and Irish Lions that beat South Africa in South Africa, and what a massive buzz that was. And the aura around that team. And the next thing, I'm in a squad playing with Doddie, and like what a guy to be around though. Like, he just sort of such a humble person, and always made me feel like I was welcome, and just put me at ease as well. Being a new guy in the team, I felt I was fairly, a little bit of an outsider too, but that was quickly forgotten. And he was very, very comforting around off the field too. He's a real funny guy, to be honest. Love playing a few pranks, and that obviously puts you at ease straight away.
Yeah, one or two, and then you're a bit of a rare breed, because there's not too many Scotland players have got silverware to put to their name, but you've got something pretty special in there.
Yeah, absolutely. What an amazing year it was in '99, and I'm the longer time goes on, the more I pinch myself and go, that was really something special. But just counting down the years, hoping Scotland get back up there. Everyone else, has rebuilt and built again, and we haven't quite got that over that last hurdle. We're playing some fantastic rugby now. It really is, and we're good enough to be doing this. And I just so want them to feel, the players now and the nation to feel exactly how it felt for us at 25 years ago, 6 years ago. It was incredible feeling, incredible squad to be part of, and we'll cherish that forever.
Still the reigning Five Nations champion, Glenn Metcalfe.
Yeah, one of the really cool things that I got to do was in that year of winning the championship. We wanted to, obviously take it all around Scotland and show people what this trophy is, and give them a share of it, give them a chance to touch it. And I had the opportunity to take it to Orkney, right up in the Isles, and jumped on a plane and headed over to Kirkwall, and just had this absolutely amazing time. Lisa, my wife, was with me, and we were treated like kings and queens there for 2 days. It was fantastic. I took a training session in Orkney with the rugby club, and I can't mind the people, the lovely couple that looked after us, but they're absolutely fantastic. And we got to spend this time on the island, and hear about the history of the bar, the Duppies and the Doonies, and go to the Highland Park distillery, the northernmost distillery in the world, and got a bespoke tour through this distillery, and around the island, being shown all these wonderful sites, the history. And that was a really special thing, to be able to take that trophy there and show them, and then and do all those things, and reach out to so many different people. Yeah, it was so cool. So really thankful for that.
Yeah, Orkney's an incredible place. They treat everybody like kings and queens. I'm guessing there'll be people from Orkney watching this, and Morven might be watching. Glenn McLennan is a big Doddie Aid fan. Brian Lanny, all these great Orkney names, and what a rugby club. They know how to look after people. And Doddie, the last time you saw the big man, was that at your reunion?
Saw the big man in 2019. Yeah, which was really cool to do. We all got together. There weren't many people missing from the year, but it was it was cool to see him. It was really cool. He's got, as you brought up, you're similar age. You're a little bit younger than Doddie too, Bruce.
Yeah, a little bit. I just had a harder paper around me.
I know you've all been brought up together, to see, Gary Armstrong was really close with Doddie, and to see the friendship and the just the bonds between people that Doddie has. He's the sort of guy he is, though. Like, everyone instantly loves that guy. And it was just cool to see him being in that environment. Jill was there. All the people that were part of my career. 20 years later, I get to see again and remember all those fun times. And so cool that we could all do that. And be together.
Jill Douglas is like water; she gets everywhere. The 2019, you'd been away for a while. I love this bit, but I want to hear it from you. You played, you did that memorable thing in '99, and gave people like me gags forever to say that Scotland are still the reigning Five Nations champions and all that. You know, it was so unbelievable because we didn't expect it. You weren't built up. It just happened. You guys went and did it. But then you go your separate ways. You know, you move on with life. You start other jobs. You go back to New Zealand. What was it like coming back together in 2019? Did you just fit together again?
Like it never left. Like you never left. Bruce, you know what? You're a rugby tragic as well, mate. You know what the game does. It's a special game, and the bonds you make with people when you get out there and you're knocking 7 bells out of each other, and the guy next to you is looking after you, and you know, it really is. It's a unique sport that we build this bond, and you know, it's 20 years can pass by and not see a lot of them or any of them, and you get together and it's just slipped back into the old routine of comfort and friendship and gags and taking the mickey out of each other. And yeah, it's pretty special. Just lucky to be part of. And you don't have to win a championship to feel like that. You know what it's like. It's just everyone across this game builds friendships and bonds, and my son is doing the same thing now, and you know, like, couldn't ask for more. Really cool.
I just love it, and you're right. Rugby tragic pretty much sums it up. And I'm so glad you got to do it. I'm so glad that 2019 got to happen, because then COVID kicks in and travel becomes difficult and getting together becomes difficult. So getting that chance to do it and see everybody again. Snowy, it's been so good to speak to you, but you're on shift, and we've got a couple other people we're going to get to. But give us the rallying call. We've got a week to go. Give us your 60 seconds worth of, come on, people, let's get on this.
Yeah, well, you know, look, it's really inspiring. We're seeing all these videos. You know, I've got 24 of my workmates involved this year. And, you know, I've got one in particular who's my boss at work here, who's paddling every day on the river in his waka, at least 10 kilometers. You know, he is taking these amazing photos on the water. I'm inspired by it. I wish I could paddle like he does, but I can't. He's going to do a 100-kilometer paddle before the end of Doddie Aid. He's going to go from a place called Karapiro, south of Hamilton, to almost Auckland, right? He's going to do that. So we're going to make sure we get some video of that. But, like, you know, everyone that's doing things, whether it's a photo or video, just don't forget how much that inspires everyone else to want to get outside and do something great for themselves and their friends and for the people that can't. You know, let's just make sure that we remember that, you know, this healthy body of ours is a gift. So get out and use it. Enjoy it, look at the beauty of this world, and just, you never know what can happen one day. So make sure you think of the people that can't too. And our big ups to Mark and Steph. Like, you know, they're a massive inspiration to me and doing my things. The strength they show, I know it's not always rosy, and but they really show how to be fantastic humans and make the best out of a bad situation. So I'm really happy, and they're inspiring friends of mine in this town in Hamilton that are going through the same thing. So we love them all, and we'll bat for them the whole time.
Mate, you're an absolute
Thanks,
legend.
Bruce.
I've loved speaking to you. Absolutely loved it. All the best, and I hope you get a quiet shift, and we'll catch up soon, my friend.
Thank you, my mate. Thanks for giving me the time. Awesome to meet you and see you. Great buddy.
Cheers, my man. Class. What an absolute star. How good is he? And anybody that remembers that 99 team, there are so many stories when Scott Gibbs became an honorary Scotsman, and Wembley was made red, but there was a lot of blue heart, and what an incredible thing. What a great guy. So many sound bites, and now he's off to look after New Zealand and make sure it's safe. And he mentioned her name, and she's here. She's been away to look for her snood, but I don't think she's found it. But because she is Jill Douglas, former CEO, now patron, she's managed to find herself a scarf. Let's not waste any time, because we need to talk to her. There's lots to get through. It's been a while. The one and the only Jill Douglas. Hello. You're on mute, Jill.
This broadcasting lark, it just is so foreign to me, and you know, I just have no clue, so I can only apologise.
You have other people to push the buttons for you. You just have to be there and present. How are you? It's been a long time.
I'm melting because I've got my scarf on, but I've got my Scotland team snood, but I went skiing last week and it obviously got lost in the laundry that came back. So I apologise, but hello, Team Scotland. But yeah, good to see you. And wasn't it fabulous to hear Snowy? he must have a painting of himself in his loft. That fella looks exactly the same as he did 25 years ago. Not a bit of him has changed. He looks, it's frightening. He's like Roger Baird. It's frightening.
Yeah, and Jill Douglas, you've been the same since you presented Look Around on Border TV, but that one's quite a niche comment from me. How does it feel? So, CEO, you know, you went through so much with the foundation, and now patron. Does it feel good to be not looking from the outside, but in a different role?
It is. It's amazing, really, because it was so intense that first sort of 7 years of, you know, starting the foundation, building a brilliant team, working with so amazing people, and just being part of that whole process. And now just taking a slight step back, I'm still fully immersed in the foundation, supporting them every step of the way, but I'm just not as involved in the day-to-day kind of machine that is Mining Study Foundation. I'm not involved in, but I am still talking to the team and talking to people that are supporting the foundation. I'm still in touch with our researchers, and I'm still talking a lot on behalf of the foundation, but just that little bit of responsibilities passed on to some of the team that have joined the foundation in the last sort of 3-4 years, because I think it's always good to mix things up a little bit, and then it allows me to a bit more freedom to do other things as well. But I am still 100% committed, and yeah, it's different. I mean, I just don't have Rob Wainwright on the phone every 2 minutes, which is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. But yeah, it's been a bit of a shift, but it was the right time and it was the right thing to do. But listen, I've got loads happening with the foundation in the next wee while. You know, lots of opportunities to represent the foundation, talk about the work we're doing, talk about and support the MND community. I've got a dinner in Geneva. I've got, you know, events up in Scotland. So and even locally, I do quite a bit with local MND groups as well. In fact, I'm having a coffee with Ed Slater tomorrow. So how about that?
Wow. Oh, well, pass on our best to him from everybody. And can I get you to look back? And there's with the foundation, we have to keep looking forward because we're always striving towards the next thing, and whether that be the fundraising or the research. But can I get you to look back and those first meetings that you had about the foundation, and now you look at where it's gone? How can you sum up that journey of the last 7 years?
It's amazing, really. I was talking to somebody about it just the other day, and you can't really put it into words. So you think, you know, we started with Doddie just basically saying, what are we going to do? We need to do something here. You know, it's not good enough. That, you know, that we need to. There's no hope. There's not enough hope. And there are some brilliant organisations and charities already working within the MND space. Make no mistake. And it's not, you know, it's not to say that they're not. But he just wanted to shake the tree a wee bit and use his voice and his platform. You know, he was such a, you know, some people loved Doddie. Doddie was a lovable character, and we think about him every day, and we we enjoyed his company, but he had depths to him that maybe a lot of people didn't see, because he comes over as a bit of a Jack the Lad, and, you know, he's a rugby player, but there was so much more to him, and he was very intelligent, and I think he just felt as though he had an opportunity here to really shift the dial a wee bit. And so when we all sat down together and sort of thought about how we were going to do that, we were a bit green, but we just had one burning ambition, which was to make a difference and to shine a light on this disease, but also to raise some money and to try and look at finding a cure. And we engaged the research community. We did all the right things, but at that first sort of early stage, the practicalities were really hard. So I would turn up with lists and lists and lists of people who'd been in touch saying, we're going to do this, we're doing a tractor drive, we're doing a rugby match, we're doing a dinner, we're going to do a coffee morning, we're doing this, can Doddie come here, can Doddie go there, and suddenly I was like, Doddie can't do any of these things. Like, he's just we don't know we don't even know where he's going to be in a year's time. So we're to sort of manage all of that at the same time, try and get registered as a charity, go through all the proper processes and protocols and do the due diligence and the governance. And I can remember having 2 days just trying to get us registered with Just Giving. And it was so stressful because we were going to launch. And unless we were on Just Giving, people wouldn't have had really an understanding of how they could give us money, which was really important. I remember just being on the phone and sort of crying on the phone at Just Giving, saying, but you must have it. We've posted it, special delivery. Can you get your mailbox checked again? And it was just wanting to do it quickly. And people with MND don't have a lot of time, and we just wanted to make sure we were doing it as quickly as we possibly could. So, and then you sort of fast forward to where we are now, and it's come such a long way. We're still impatient, and we're still disruptive, and we're still trying to do all the things that we set out to do at the beginning, but we're just a bit more organised as we were all those years ago. So yeah, we've come a long way, and the people that have joined the kind of crusade along the way are the most incredible people, and that's what drives me forward. That's what makes me smile and gets me excited when I see the number of people getting involved, whether it's on the research side, the fundraising side, or just people that get in touch to say, what's going on, how's it going? And I think that's what makes it special and makes me want to keep pushing forward.
There's been certain points through the journey that are really memorable to me. Now, I wasn't there, but that dinner back in Kelso, where Deacon Blue played, and it was just it almost felt like, how could it move from that? Because it was such a ridiculously big affair with so much going on. But when you look at what's happened since, there's 20 or 30 of those big things, as well as all those other things you've said about coffee mornings. Is there a moment where you felt like there was a tipping point where this has gone from a merry band of Doddie and his pals to a movement?
I think maybe like Ricky Ross playing Dignity in Springwood Park and us all on our feet, and the love and joy in that room was incredible. If you could have bottled that, you would have lived on it. It was so amazing. And there have been a lot of those moments because Doddie did that to people. And even now, as the foundation has grown and moved on, it's 2 years since we lost Doddie, and his legacy is what we're doing now and how we're trying to push things forward and how we're determined not to stop the momentum that we've gained. But there are people joining the work of the foundation now who didn't know Doddie, didn't get to meet him, aren't doing it necessarily because of Doddie, but are doing it because of their contact with MND, whether it's through family, colleagues, maybe themselves. And I think that's been quite a sort of shift for the foundation to sort of realise just how big it's become, because we're now talking to people all over the world who want to help because they like what we're trying to do. They like the way we go about our business, and really because they see the desperation that MND brings to families and people living with the disease. So that's been a big shift, and it's been quite something. We've still, of course, got people who knew and loved Doddie and connect with him in that way. Some of the big moments I would say would be, we've had a lot of connections with the other big charities, so we work with them quite closely. But going into Downing Street and talking about the foundation is always special. Going and talking at government level, the 50 million being committed by the government was a big moment as well. So I think, but even just sometimes meeting people, what excites me as much as anything, this all sounds really shallow, right? But I'm just going to say it. I can be anywhere in the world and I see somebody with a bit of Doddie tartan on, and they might have a beanie or a scarf or a hoodie or whatever, and you could be in Japan, or you could be in France, or you could be in the Alps skiing, and you see somebody with a snood on or whatever, and you're like, you're running towards them like a lunatic, and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, and I think that just shows the reach of the foundation, and to hear about guys in New Zealand, to hear Snowy talking about his colleagues doing so much, and it is amazing. And because we've gone and represented the foundation at big international MND research events, people have heard about Doddie and have heard about what we're trying to do, and that's special. That's amazing. And so I think there've been a lot of highlights and the odd low light as well, of course. But yeah, and there are a lot more highlights to come. But I think fun, joy, and hope. That's what Doddie always stood for. And I think as long as we keep those values close to what we try to do, we'll not go far wrong.
Yeah, amen. I love it. I love hearing the passion you talk with. Now, it cracks me up. Jill Douglas, I think there must be 3 or 4 of you, because CEO of the foundation, on our
Don't tell
TVs.
my husband that. He'll be not he'd have a nightmare.
You're in the snooker with Stephen Hendry, and then you're on a touchline with Ruby Tui, creating one of the best bits of interview that's ever been seen. You're also in Clubland, which a lot of people probably don't realise how you're helping.
Can you explain what that
grassroots.
is, Bruce? Because that sounds like it might be a pole dancer.
Well, I thought you were German, but yes, you're heavily involved in club rugby, where you were president of the women's section, but then became president of the whole club. How on earth you've got time to do that and all the other things? It just blows my mind. What does the future look like? We're expecting to see on our screens in the next 6 weeks, aren't we?
Yeah, loads going on. So Friday night, I'm in the studio with ITV for France-Wales, the start of the Six Nations. What a belting game to kick off with, because they put on a good show, France, in the Stade de France, and it'll be amazing. So, who knows what Wales will bring, but we know what France look like. And my goodness me, I think it'll be a heavily Toulouse-looking French side. So that's going to be exciting. So then I've got my Six Nations games going on. Bit of snooker coming up. What else have I got going on? I'll do a bit of work with Gallagher as well. So I've got my city hat on up to the City of London and do some stuff up there. And yeah, president of Cheltenham. So we've got a big day on Saturday. We've got our sponsors lunch. We're getting a kitchen refit at the minute. We've just had solar panels fitted. There's a lot going on down the club at the moment. I could talk to you all night, but what I do see is, I love what I do, because rugby's been really good to me. I've had a lot of joy and fun out of rugby, and Hoyt Rugby Club was kind of central to me when I was growing up. And so I can see, I love being part of a rugby club, because it keeps you very real. And I wait for on the Sunday, where somebody sent off at the weekend from the male or the female team, whoever knows. And then on a Tuesday, I've got to do the disciplinary as club president. So it keeps you very invested in the game at that level. But equally, if you met my mum and dad, Aileen and Henry, they did so much. Like, they were on every committee. They did volunteering here. They did collecting tins. They did, you name it. Dad was off singing wherever it might be. We're a busy folk, plus farmers. So I think if you grow up in a kind of get on with it kind of family, you just like to fill your time, and I do make time. I've got a busy family as well, so I've got a nearly 16-year-old and 18-year-old, and of course Hoggies to look after as well. So it's quite a handful at times.
You give him a hard time, but he does well. He does well. I just love it, and I love hearing the way you talk. And your old man, an absolute hero. And you're right, in that community, there's so many of them. I was on the phone to John Tate the other day, and a letter came through the letterbox, and it was big news, because he's getting to sing at a very special event in the town in Hoyt in the summer. So I felt privileged to be on the phone to get it firsthand what was happening. That those communities, you've created and been part of this community that we're all part of, and Cheltenham and all the other things that you do. When you look at Six Nations, does it still get you excited?
I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. I mean, it just is brilliant. I say it about Cheltenham Festival every March. On the Monday, it feels like the night before Christmas. And that's what it feels like now as we go to the Six Nations. And I think my first Six Nations match properly was probably for the BBC would probably be back in 97, 98, something like that. I was in Paris 99 when they when they beat France. And then the following day on the Sunday, we were all in our Carl and I's house in Melrose. There was a gang of us, including Doddie and Stephen Brotherton and a whole bunch of the guys who'd been playing the day before. And we were watching the Wales-England game. And as it got closer and closer, suddenly, we weren't really watching it. We were just kind of thinking, oh, well, it got tighter and tighter. And suddenly we thought, hang on a minute, Wales might win this. And Derek Brown, who was the SRU president at the time, he lived across, just behind our fence was where he lived. So we rushed across and got him and said, "We've got half the team in here. We think you might win the Five Nations." And so he and Janet, his wife, came in, and it was just absolutely brilliant. I remember BBC news producer phoned me and he said, "We're trying to get in touch with some of the Scotland team because obviously Wales have beaten England. That means Scotland have won the Five Nations. But we don't know where anybody's. Have you any idea how we can get in touch with them?" And I was like, "Nah, sorry. No idea." I just thought, I can't. I just went, no. I said, try cover some of the bars in Edinburgh. They're bound to be in there. I thought, no, it was, you separate professional and personal life sometimes. But so that if you imagine that to where we are now, Six Nations, and I'm still very, very lucky to be holding the microphone and getting involved. So yeah, I'm hugely excited, and I think Scotland are going to do ever so well. I think Italy will be a bit of a surprise. Well, not even a surprise. They're not a surprise package anymore. They're a good team.
No.
I think Wales will be better. I think England might do well as well. I don't know. It's. I tell you what. I think what I love about this Six Nations. It's so unpredictable. It's so unpredictable. The only thing I predicted was I think France probably have got the edge on the rest of the teams.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's hilarious when you tell that story about 99. If that was now, you would have had a TV crew in your house videoing the whole thing, getting the reaction, and it would have gone crazy on social media. But there was probably some stories to tell that are not needing to be shared.
They wouldn't even have needed a TV crew because now people have been recording it on their phones and putting it online. And, if somebody was looking for one of the team, they'd be able to check their social media and find out where they were. It was none of that. It was just a really nice afternoon / evening.
Yeah, that's a polite way to put it. A really nice afternoon, and we've just gone over a pretty big landmark. So the Four Nations: Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales. It's pretty impressive. Now, the sums would suggest that we've smashed 1 million miles. That's really far.
Well, it's a long way, isn't it? It's incredible, and I think. Listen, it just shows how committed people have been to this. I remember way back being at Matson Rugby Club with my son playing mini rugby for Cheltenham Tigers, and Rob Wainwright phoning me in the Sunday morning saying, "I've had this idea," talking about Doddie Gump, which evolved into what we are now. And I said, "Can you simplify that for me, Rob? Because I think I'm reasonably well." Not clever, but I kind of get a lot of stuff. But anyway, he was standing on the farm in, with Romain, and I'm on this rugby pitch, and I must have been on the phone to him for about an hour and a half, missed the whole of the match. But to think that's where it began, and this is where it is now, such an integral part of the fundraising for My Name's Doddie Foundation every year. Something that people get really involved in, enjoy it, love it. And I think really important is it's accessible for everybody. You don't have to buy a ticket for an expensive dinner. You're not buying a ticket for a ball, or you're not putting a big bid in for an auction. You're literally just doing what you should be doing in January anyway, which is getting active, get out there and do something. But by doing that, you are helping Doddie Aid and you're helping research, vital research into MND. So it's come a long way, and it has evolved and moved and become what it is today. And it's fabulous. And it is only possible because all of these incredible people just decide to go that extra mile and get involved. And it's inspiring. And I love the videos. I love the stories. I love everybody getting behind it. So I did a sea Duke at the beginning of the year. I did a bit of skiing. I do bit of work down at the gym to try and get some miles in on the rower, and sometimes the old walk up Cleve Hill. So I'm trying to do my bit, but it's brilliant. And a huge, big, heartfelt thank you to everybody who's signed up, everybody who's done it, because it's massively important for us, and what a brilliant way to kick off the year.
Yeah, it's class. Are you going to be able to sneak any tartan onto the ITV set at the weekend?
It doesn't matter what I wear, I'll get crucified. If I'm wearing something that's a shade of blue, the Welsh will say I'm supporting France. If it's a no-win situation, is all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to go there.
Well, it's class. I'm so pleased I've spoken to you. Now, the last time I saw you, we were in Melrose, and you won an award, and I was so chuffed to be there because you were absolutely gobsmacked. But the funniest bit of the whole night was the organizer was running about going, Jill Douglas hasn't turned up, Jill Douglas hasn't turned up, Jill Douglas hasn't turned up, because Jill Douglas thought it started at 7:30 and it started at 7 o'clock. And you rocked in late because you could rock up whenever you like. And then you were given...
I rocked up when I thought it started.
And then you were given the Lifetime Achievement Award, and it was just spectacular because you were so gobsmacked. It was a lovely, lovely thing. But you hadn't brought Hoggy with you because you just thought you were going as a guest.
Well, we'd been there he got his inducted into the Hall of Fame, and so we were all there. But then for me, it was like, we can't all be here all the time. I think he'd gone back to Cheltenham. Kids were not that interested. Oh, I turned up, and it was so lovely, and it was such a nice evening, and yeah, it was lovely, and very. I felt very honoured, and it was a nice evening, and you did a brilliant job with it all. But yeah, I was even when I went up, I was thinking, well, who's next then? Who's actually getting the award? And then you started talking. I was like, oh, okay. It was so nice. It's displayed prominently in the house. Don't you worry.
Brilliant. It was such a great thing. I was so pleased I was there. Jill, I love speaking to you. It's always good. You're the person that when you leave, you're better than when you arrive. So thank you so much. And thank you for everything you've done. And no doubt you're going to keep going and keep banging the drum. So thank you so much. And we'll see you on the TV on Friday.
Great stuff, Bruce. And yes, listen, you keep going too, because you do a huge amount, and it means the world to all of us. So, crack on, and everybody else, just keep putting those miles in. We're getting to the end now, so there's still time. And you know what? Even at this late stage, last week I signed up a couple of people in the Alps to join Doddie Aid. So you don't have to be in there at the beginning. You can join anytime. Be part of the community. It's so important.
Love it. You're a superstar. Thanks, Jill. Speak to you soon. So good. So good. Glenn Metcalfe, Jill Douglas, heroes with so many stories to tell. But I have to admit, they're just like the warm-up act for what we've got coming. There's so much going on. And on Sunday, we've got the Chris Hoy Zwift, which is massive. It's absolutely enormous. Now, Jill talking about things being accessible. Not everybody is going to get involved in Zwift. But if you are, fair play. There's so much going on. And you're part of this big push for the last week. As Jill says, there's still time. If you've got somebody to sign up or you want to get them a present, sign them up for Doddie Aid, because it is just so good. Now, we've spoken and heard about the videos and the pictures and how inspiring it is. We love this. And Big Handsome Sean works away, and the team at Doddie Aid work away to create so many cool things. So let's have a look at our weekly montage and see if you can spot yourself. you people are amazing, with lots of handsome beasts in there as well. And a huge shout out to Jane, who's been rollerblading in pretty difficult conditions, and she's an absolute MND soldier. So a huge hello to Jane, but well done to everybody for getting involved. Now, I'm going to tell a little story before I bring in our final guests. I'm wearing my shirt from last year when we cycled from Murrayfield to Rome, and my favourite day of the whole 8 days was the day we spent in Wales, and we arrived in pretty horrific conditions on St David's Day, and we travelled through Wales. We visited schools and rugby clubs, but one of the real highlights of the 8 days was when we arrived at Abertillery Rugby Club, and I got to meet two heroes of mine that are going to be the guests on now. And there are people you meet that fill you up and give you inspiration and motivation and all those things, and they make you reflect on what's gone before and have a little think about what you want to happen, and it just gives you a bolt of energy. Now, these two are incredible, better known as Archie and Neve's mum and dad, but to you and I, they're Steph and Mark Williams, or Beauty and the Beast. So let's not waste any more time and bring in Wales' finest. Hello there, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for being so patient and sticking around. It's good to see you both.
That's all right.
Mark looks like he's been to Turkey for his holidays with those teeth. That's really impressive, my man.
It's like an advert of Colgate advert, isn't it?
Brilliant. How's Doddie Aid been for the two of you?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been a lot different this year. Two reasons. Number one, we've had the privilege of being asked to be team managers for Team Wales this year. So we've been a lot more involved with it, which we've absolutely loved, haven't we? It's given us a focus and a drive and something to, especially after Christmas, everyone's like a little bit depressed, and it was like good to be part of something in January. And we had such good numbers last year leading the Defiance Army. It only felt right, really, when Anna approached us. She was like, do you know anybody in Wales that could do this role? And we were like, are you actually hinting for us, asking us to do it?
Yeah, really subtle, Anna, really subtle.
No, she genuinely wasn't. In all fairness, she was asking us for somebody that we thought would be perfect for the role. And me and Mark was talking about it, and Mark said, well, hang on, I'll do it. So like he put his name forward, and she was like, oh, please don't think that I was just saying that for you to do it. Yeah, you can't talk though, can you? But you'll still do it anyway.
I love when in my WhatsApp the notification comes up that Mark Williams has put something into the group. I'm like, I've got to read this because he's having a go at somebody, or he's grumpy, or something's happened. I love that.
And then there's the second reason then, Brooks. Obviously, Mark's condition I think he's gone a lot. He declined since last year as his condition has progressed. So it's been a lot more different this year. He has been adapting still. So whereas he was fighting fit on the assault bike over the last 2 years, he's no longer able to do that now due to his condition. So he sort of changed it up this year. I've known he's been doing some squats instead on his like steady. He got like a motorized like hoist thing that kind of helps him to stand up. So you've been doing squat. Don't tell his OT that though, for God's sake.
It's all right. Nobody's watching this. It's fine.
I know. So we've been doing that, and whereas like in previous years, Mark had done like 750 miles, I think was the 1 year. He'd done 50 equivalent this year, which is still massive for Mark. He's going into his 3rd year of his diagnosis, so we're all incredibly proud of him, and he's still inspiring everybody. And he was the perfect person to take on this role in my eyes. So.
Yeah, you're biased though. You sweetheart.
I'm after something.
I'm now just checking mine. Mark's done 50 and I've done 40.1. So yeah, he's doing all right. He's doing all right. We were listening to Snowy in New Zealand, who before we came on Snowy spoke to the two of you and has taken massive inspiration from the two of you. He's a great guy. Who have you seen or what have you seen that's inspired you to?
Do you know what? We were just talking about this when we literally everybody within the Doddie Aid community that is actually doing something and trying to make a difference is inspiring us every day. It's pushing us to want to do more. It's pushing Mark on. Yeah, so all the videos that Mark sees, all the things that we're tagged in, all the photographs, it just like keeps us going, and it's fantastic to be part of the MAD, sort of Doddie Aid community. It's brilliant to be part of it. But one person you did want to mention was young Harvey, so David Doohan's son that's doing this challenge. Absolutely amazing. So he's doing 100 push-ups and 5k a day. Is that right? Yeah, for 30 all the days throughout January. Absolutely little legend. That is absolutely awesome. And he's only 10, so that's fab. And he's that's amazing. So yeah, that was
he's been incredible. I'm a little bit concerned that social services have been phoned about his old man though, cracking a whip and making him run up hills and getting him to do 5k when he's absolutely done. But no, the thing Dave's incredible because his story is an interesting one, and he's, there's lots of people have gone above and beyond, but Dave doing that. But then for his little lad to go, do you know what? I want to get involved in this. It's just spectacular, isn't it? It's so cool. Yeah.
That's great, because I actually did like a 5k last year, didn't he, for Doddie Aid, and he raised over £2,000. And it's right, you see his dad doing all this wonderful things for Doddie Aid, and he was like, "Mom, I want a Fitbit, I want to clock my miles, and I want to do this, and I want to do that." And he was telling all his mates in school to sign up. He'd been wearing his snood to school, and his teachers have been saying, "Oh, I like your snood. Where'd you get that from?" And his answer was, "Sign up to Doddie Aid and you'll get one."
Good lad. I want to talk last year. It's a year ago, pretty much, since I met the two of you. And as I said on that little intro, it just was amazing to come up that little ramp into the rugby club and see the two of you. And you'd come back from your holiday to see us arrive at the club, and some of the boys had cycled through some stinking weather to get there, but the welcome we got at that rugby club was just spectacular. And to see the love for the two of you and the community was really uplifting. Jill mentioned being in Clubland when I was speaking to her. Talk me through what the club has done for you and how they've helped and the strength you've taken from them.
The club have been an absolute immense help to us. The rugby is a family. It's not friends. It is literally a rugby family, and there is no other family like it. Mark played rugby, for absolutely most of his rugby career. Our little lad plays for the junior section now as well. And from the start, from the get-go, they were just part of our... Sorry, dog was yelping over there then.
Because you didn't have enough on your plate, Steph, so you thought, do you know what we'll do? We'll get a puppy as well.
I know, I like a challenge, Bruce. Like all of Mark's best mates, from rugby, it's hard to explain really, isn't it? Unless you've been part of a rugby family, you can't really put it into words what it actually means. And they have been amazing at helping us put on events, hosting events. We did like a charity rugby game, didn't they? Like past and present type of thing. Every little thing that we've hosted or wanted to do, they put it on for us, refreshments, and they've been absolutely incredible. And it's one of the best about this, the Field of Dreams down there, and all the local sides, they love coming up to play. We're really, really, really proud to be part of that community.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing, and I loved seeing the two of you, and then this crazy lady with blonde hair came up to me and went, I'm fra Hoyk, which is the town down the road from here, and she just
Scottish Wendy, yeah. She's known Scottish Wendy, yeah.
Scottish Wendy. And I think I said to her, "Oh, what brought you down here?" And she said, "Oh, love." I said, "Oh, are you married to Scott?" She went, "Oh no, I'm not with him anymore." she just got into it. She was up on the chair. It was just, and you could feel the support that they were, they were giving you, and it's amazing to have that. How did your thing go on Saturday?
Oh, it went really, really well. We didn't expect to have so many people there as we did, because the weather, it was freezing cold, it was icy. But it was nearly 100 people, I think, that turned up. And because we made it like a family event, it was like, bring the kids, bring your nan, bring the dog, or Mark said, bring somebody else's nan and dog and kids. But yeah, it went really, really well. And I think we raised over 500 quid, didn't we? So yeah, it was really good, and loads of miles clocked, and the sun was shining, and yeah, it went really, really well.
And is there any stories on BBC Wales about somebody's nan being kidnapped and taken to Abertillery Rugby Club on Saturday morning?
No, but Mark was doing skids on the ice on his wheelchair, like a child. God, I was thinking, oh God, no, please.
Come on then, give us your predictions. Wales and the Six Nations, what's going to happen?
Dire, really, and they wouldn't have been a win if they had. A ball. Oh, they wouldn't have a win even if they had a ball each, he said.
See, we're at the other end of this. There's Jill saying, I think Scotland are going to go very well. It's the hope that kills you up here. Like, you guys have got grand slams. Like, I've got no sympathy for you lot at all. We keep being promised this is a year, and I'm still waiting. I'm still claiming 99. That's how far back I'm going.
Yeah, Wales just haven't got the experience now at the minute, and we just haven't got the size in the players, have we? We just haven't got that, I don't know, clout anymore, have we? It's just all fresh faces, and I suppose that's got to happen to have, a good side, but still, it's not enough experience at the moment, we don't think. But we can only hope.
If Gatlin hears this man's been squatting and covering 50 miles, he'll be getting a shout. He's the only Williams in Wales that's not had a cap yet.
I know. You won, B. You won. B. You won't be second row now, he said. From prop, you'll be prop now, he said.
That's all right. I can imagine you sticking your head in there. Although you need to look after those teeth. You're going to have to get a pretty decent gum guard for those things. I'm impressed by that. I see. If I was going to Turkey, I'd have to get my hair done. I thought you would have got that done while you were there. Folks, so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. It's a massive honor. I've loved getting to know you. Most of it's been on social media, but that bit of time I spent with you last year in Abertillery Rugby Club was an amazing period for me. So thank you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to almost give you the final word. We've got a week to go. Give us your message to the community that have supported and to maybe those that are needing a bit of a spark. The floor is yours. Go for it. Okay, so Mark just wanted to give a message to all of the MND community as well. Obviously, we see. Do you want to say it? We don't need me to say it. Yeah, Mark's going to try and play what he's written out on his eye gaze, and we'll see if you can hear it, Bruce.
I see a lot of people within and
turn it up a bit.
We see a lot of people within NT, and the message is always stay positive as hard as it is. We will always try to help and offer advice if we can. It's a cruel diagnosis, but there's plenty of memories left to create.
Absolutely. So the key message there is stay positive. That's what gets us through it. and just try and live in the moment, because that's all we've got at the moment. It's just you'll have plenty. Good. You've had plenty of good memories with MND. And you were saying not so long ago that, even with your diagnosis, since his diagnosis in the last 3 years, we have created the most amazing memories, probably more than what some people would create in a lifetime. And, one greatest memory for us was last year, Bruce, when we were asked to deliver the match ball.
I thought you were going to say meeting me.
Well, of course, from that, one of the other highlights would have to be delivering the match ball in Cardiff, in the stadium, and the kids being with us. And that's like a memory that we'll cherish and stay with us forever. And that's how it got on then to meeting you guys and how it all worked out. And it was just, we'd still talk about that day even now. And Archie does. He said it was the best day of his life. But yeah, it was fab, and it was really, really good. But yeah, and then we just want to, everybody that have signed up for Doddie Aid, we just want to thank you so, so much, especially Team Wales. I think we're up on just under 55,000 miles now, I think, in Team Wales. We are a small region, but we are doing really, really well. But yeah, we just want to thank you all so much for signing up. Everyone, not just Wales, everybody in the Four Nations, absolutely amazing. We've done amazing things. We've seen incredible people, and just keep up the good work. We couldn't do what we do without the support of everybody in this community. But yeah, so even if you haven't signed up yet, we've only got a week left to go. But sign up, 20 quid to get into a fifth snood. Just cool, just for the snood, isn't it? Even if you don't do any miles, you just have the snood.
Yeah, see, I find you don't need to do a lot of miles, because I can get rid of the double chin just by going.
Yeah.
It's gone. Instantly slimming. Although you can still see the bags under my eyes, but you can't see my double chin. Folks, so good to see you both. I love you to bits, and I'm hoping that we're going to see each other in the flesh at some point soon. But look after each other and stay in touch. Keep going. 1 week to go.
Thanks for having us, Bruce. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, pal. Love it. How good. What a show. Snowy Metcalfe, reigning Five Nation champion, Jill Douglas, proper legend, and my name is Doddie, CEO and now patron, and then the Williams. What a team. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure and honour to speak to you and to speak to those great guests. Keep going. We've got 1 week to go. There's heaps going on. Keep the pictures coming in with Doddie Aid. Get involved in the Zwift on Sunday morning. Big challenge coming out on Saturday. And then our last live show next Wednesday night. And all those cyclists will be on their way heading for Edinburgh. Some are starting in Wales, some are starting in Ireland. And then most of the teams joining up in Scotland and taking the long way round before they get to Edinburgh to meet before the Scotland-Ireland game. You've done a great job, folks. Keep it going. There's lots of people that need us and we need each other. So stick together, look after each other. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for The Last Dance.
Hi, it's Mark Beaumont, and I'll be taking part in Doddie Aid 2025 to raise vital funds for research into motor neuron disease. And I'll be cycling, of course, the best activity of all. Beat that!
There's only one activity for us. Rugby, just like Doddie.
We just go for a walk. We don't really do swim caps. No offense.
Well, I agree, ladies, but personally, I prefer something a wee bit more relaxing. Oh, for goodness sake.
Whoa. What's all this talk about the best activity? It's about finding what works for you.
Whatever you choose to do, just make it count.
Join Doddie Aid today. Pick your activity, log your miles, and help us tackle motor neuron disease.
We're
in
this together.
Try to keep up, Mark.